Hey, welcome to the after show with the Mad Dog and Cole, the magician, Farrell.
America, where podcasts are still legal for now.
I decided to fly through the air and live in the sunlight and enjoy life as much as I could, and that's just what I'm doing.
Okay, it's happening. Everybody stay calm. What's the procedure, everyone? What's the procedure? Stay calm. Wait.
Man, oh man, what a way to start. Inspiring words of Mr. Evil Knievel, flying through the air, living in the sunlight, enjoying life. You know, the man wasn't perfect, but he did have a knack for loving what he did. And thank goodness we have that opportunity also. And why do we have that opportunity?
We have that opportunity because of our first responders and our brave men and women of the military of the United States. Not a joke. Once again, had to call on our first responders this week, and just blessed to be in a county in a nation where they came promptly and helped us out. So we could not be more grateful here at the podcast to have these opportunities because of what they do. So and we live in a country where we don't have to promote nationalism as much as we love this country. We're not forced to do anything, and that's because of our freedom. So thank you again from here at the after show.
Yeah, absolutely. And a special shout out to the families of those that gave all the MIA and KIA. Huge respect. Our prayers with you and your service people. Thank you so much for your sacrifice. Man, I am so stoked to be back on the road, and I'm back on the road because of an amazing company called Kicker Performance Audio. If you haven't
Nice.
checked them out yet, hit them up, kicker.com, at Kicker Audio on Instagram for all your 12 volt and personal audio needs. Oh, by the way, they just happened to launch a brand new product the other day. I had a little insider insight. I'm not going to lie, but it is, you may have seen the launch on my personal Mad Dog Media, or you may have seen it on at AFTR underscore podcast. But the brand new TW2 True Wireless Earbuds.
You know what's so funny about that brand new product, and it was released, I swear, days after I just ordered another beautiful pair of EB400s. But next round, I'm gonna get me some of those new wireless. They look sick.
Yeah, they really do. And I think I'll pick some up next week in Oklahoma. But
Beautiful.
this week, dude, man, I was, of course, kicker.com, find them there, check out new products. This week, dude, yesterday, I am in Grand Island, Nebraska for the Kicker AMA Arenacross Championships round 5 um, at the Heartland Event Center in Great Grand Island, Nebraska. I flew into Omaha, Nebraska yesterday, and I was so thankful for my bomber eyewear, polarized, and these dark smokes. I personally have the bomber boogie bombs in a medium smoke prescription. And I was very grateful yesterday as I'm driving from Omaha to here, about 2 hours and 20 minutes, because I drove through heavy cloud, overcast. I drove through incredibly bright sunshine. I drove through a little bit of flying snow and overcast.
No
And then I
thanks.
drove into even more direct sunlight. And when I got here, as you know, when you're driving, when you're road tripping in a brand new place you've never been, you're watching for everything. You're watching every road mark.
Hyper awareness.
Yeah, and I got here and my eyes weren't tired at all. Uh, Bomber Eyewear. It's bombereyewear.com or on Instagram at Bomber Eyewear. Man, floating sunglasses, safety glasses, floating safety sunglasses, dark smoke, ice blue mirror, ice red mirror, whatever you need. Over 40 styles of frames, and I don't even know how many lens combinations, but
10
check them
trillion.
out. Oh yeah, yeah. I know. I saw a clip the other day on Insta. You were wearing your new. What are you wearing? The Buzz Bombs now?
Buzz bombs.
Yeah, in the red.
Yeah.
Yeah, looking
Thank
stylish,
you. Hey,
dude.
that's what I do. We Bomber Eyewear and myself, we complement each other. Two good looking products out there working together.
Absolutely. Cheers to that. Man, of course, the Premix podcast, our man behind the mic, behind the buttons, and sharing his passion for all things desert racing through the lens of a camera and his incredible ability to say whatever he wants on the mic when he's on stage at your
Well,
events. MC and event announcer extraordinaire. Look him up on Instagram, our man Cole. Find him, slide into his DMs at the Premix Podcast. That's the at symbol, ThePremixPodcast. Whew.
wow, nailed it.
Yeah, I was trying to go as fast as I could because I've never really tried to go that fast. So, for those of you who missed it, the slow motion is
Oh no.
at symbol THEPREMIXPODCAST.
Well, there goes our one listener for the night.
Yeah, but it was fun, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Of course, Kelsey Morale Film, with all this stuff that's been going on, she's had to, re-edit some of our YouTube videos and our YouTube podcasts. So she's been just hammering down on those. If you need help, video shorts, video stills, um, video production, commercial production, hit her up on Instagram at Kelsey Morel Film. Of course, Hey Geeks Marketing. Man, all our super cool Instagram stuff, layouts, templates, our logo work, all that is compliments at Hey Geeks Marketing. Find her on the web, heygeeks.com, on Instagram at Hey Geeks Marketing for all your iNet, whatever you need. Need a website built, need a website maintained, need a shopping cart added to your website, need a social media campaign done, just need your social media managed or uploaded. Yell it, Hey Keeks. Find her at heykeeks.com. Man, I felt that was a little rough go through, but it's the best I could do with what I have to work with. Not going to lie, it is colder than a beep out here in Nebraska, dude.
Is it in the teens or what is it?
I think it's in the single digits, but it's supposed to get colder. So there's that.
I'm curious. I'm gonna look this up.
I believe it's currently low single digits with like 20-mile-an-hour winds.
At this moment, it is 5 degrees
Yep.
with 100% precipitation, so
Correct.
snowing, and
Yep.
16-mile-an-hour winds.
Yeah, with a wind chill of minus.
Yeah, feels like negative 13.
Yep, I can verify that. I was outside just a little bit ago.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Well, the bike should
So,
run good, I guess.
yeah, hopefully the guys won't have problems with air here.
No. Maybe traction and starting and other stuff, but
It'll be, yeah, they do have everybody set up, and it's at the uh, fairgrounds, and they do have all the indoor pits right across the road from the arena in the sheep barn. So that's interesting, but it's heated in there. I've talked to several racers tonight that had already made a trip to Walmart right down the street and bought electric heaters
Oh,
to
yep.
put
Good
heat
idea.
on the bikes. Yeah, so it will be interesting. The other factor is, of course, currently winter storm warning with the snow and the wind, and being in the heartland Midwest. Multiple flights are canceling everywhere. And so it'll be interesting to see who actually makes it. Um, those riders that are notorious for flying in late Thursday
The rock stars.
may not make it.
Yikes. That's one way to lose the championship.
Yeah, hopefully, none of our guys have that problem and have been watching the weather and had the foresight to, you know, get in early. So, man, what a week, dude. I mean, we raced in Loveland, Colorado last week. Um, Great racing, always a good crowd. Holy smokes, my buddy Matt came out to help support the kicker effort out there. And dude, it was quite the night. The track was very strange. It was like the more water they put on it, the more it turned into like almost crystallized the dirt and it wouldn't pack.
That's not good.
So it's like the more water they left off, the slicker it got. The more water they put on, the more clumpy it got and the worse it got. So there was no winning.
Yeah, so just leave it alone, basically.
Yeah, I basically just left it dusty and slippery, and because you know, at least dusty and slippery is pretty good chance it's predictable in the same places every lap, where it is slick, as opposed to the crumbly, clumpy dirt. You never know what's going to happen.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
yeah, and on top of the track thing, man, it was just a crazy weekend. Like there was a lot going on. Friday, during the pro show, there was a man, young Isaiah Clark, put her on the top of the box qualifying, which he's been about fourth in qualifying, fourth to sixth. So I was surprised, but I think he's getting comfortable on the new lasting impressions concrete racing Honda. And man, as the night, they raced, the racing was crazy. There was carnage, there was great racing, and the lasting impressions concrete Honda racing team, Ashley Electric Honda Racing or whatever they're called. My good friends, Jason Thompson, Ashley Tolsky's the crew chief, of course, Kyle Bitterman, Isaiah Clark, and young Ben Thompson is the AB All-Star rider and had an unfortunate incident the weekend before, on the weekend off, racing in the Carolinas and broke his leg.
Oh, geez.
So his chase for the championship is more than likely
What
over.
a bummer.
Yeah, three races in, 2 wins in 3 races, and leading the points and really looking good. But he'll be back. I saw him today and talked to him for a minute. He'll be back. So, and then those guys, the lasting impressions concrete, Ashley Electric Honda Racing team, Kyle Bitterman and Isaiah Clark both had really solid weekends. Kyle Peters won Pro Main 1. I think both Isaiah and Bitterman won their heat races, as well as Peters and Ryan Brees. Um, Track was gnarly, big whoops again.
Flat corners, you
But
were saying.
yeah, there's I think 3 flat corners, so it was exciting. Um, Really seemed to fit Isaiah Clark well. Um, and KB is always strong in the whoops, whereas KP I think struggles in the big whoops, but he's so good everywhere else.
Yeah, just a little bit of height disadvantage in those big monster whoops.
Yeah, height and weight, and KB's like got to be he's over 6 feet, I'm sure, and
Yeah, so he probably likes the whoops.
yeah. So, and speaking of KB, he went second in main one. Kyle Peters won, not without drama. Ryan Brees was out front. Kyle Peters was reeling him in, and I think because the track was slick, I have my suspicions. I have super slow mode every video I've seen, but I'm guessing that Brees was running his back tire very low. And to me, where I super slow mode and captured some action out of the videos, it looked like I think he cut a tube.
Interesting.
I think he was running the back tire so low that when he slammed, they came down the whoops and he was whacking the whoops pretty hard into the rhythm, and he slammed down on the tabletop really hard and came off the tabletop, doubled off the tabletop. And when he landed and started to go off the double into the corner, he was looking back at his back tire. And I have a suspicion that he just slam landed a little bit hard and had really low pressure, trying to get as much knobby on the dirt as you can. And that's a fine line. I mean, I know you've been there.
Well, I was gonna say at pro level of racing now, it's actually really odd to even be running tubes anymore because the Moose technology has come so far in the last 10 years or so that I would genuinely be surprised if he was running a tube, but different guys like different feels, so maybe he was.
Yeah, he might not have been running a tube and just had the pressure so low he blew it off the bead.
I'm gonna need you to do some sneaking around the pits when you can.
I will do that. I will
Good.
do that tomorrow. I got a feeling I'll have time. So yeah, but that in essence put him 13 or 14 in Moto 1, dead last. But KB looked good. Kyle Bitterman looked good, chasing up on Kyle Peters and Isaiah Clark, right on Kyle Bitterman. So it was really cool. And then, in Pro Main 2, they invert the start.
Yep.
And of course, suspiciously, that's the second race in a row where Brees has gone out in the first main and started on the pole of the second main and was literally one bad decision on a corner away from winning the second main in Madison. And Kyle Peters, I think, just read traffic a little better and did win this main. So,
Maybe a little strategy going on.
well, if you're not, I'm not saying one way or the other. I'm just saying if you're not chasing the championship and you're chasing the money, one win is better than none.
Right. Well, of course. Yeah.
You know,
And it doesn't sound like he is chasing the championship.
as far as I know now, no, but I'm not saying one way or the other. I'm just, it's just
The
weird to
realm
me.
of possibilities.
Right. It's certainly within, the tactical spectrum of an independent rider. How's that?
And if he gets, once again, it's all speculation, but if he has a program with his sponsors where he gets paid for a top 3 in a main event, yeah, maybe he does throw away the first one just to get guaranteed on the pole for the second, and away you go.
Yeah,
Who
I
knows?
know.
Who knows?
I'm not saying that's what happened, but it's possible. I'm not saying it is, but it certainly could be possible. Um, so, but man, it's like, and then Isaiah Clark showed great speed and actually caught P2, and Bitterman pulled P3 in the final moto and Moto 2, Pro Moto 2 or Pro Main 2 as they call it. And Kyle Peters finished off the podium for the first time in, I think, probably in Arenacross, probably the first time since he started this new series of Arenacross, since he came on board with us, I think in 19, I want to say. So, or would it be, I think it was might have been 20. No, it was 19 because he has 4 championships.
The math checks out.
Yep. So, first time he hasn't been on the podium in a main,
Wow.
finishing 4th. But, he's a smart man. We've talked about it a million
Big
times
picture.
over. He looks at the big picture. His crew chief, Rob Goodwin, knows how to win championships. Kyle knows how to win championships. But it was good to see Bitterman and Clark up there on the podium in both mains. And Clark actually beat Bitterman to the checkers in main 2. So that was really cool. They both looked good and they raced the entire race. They're teammates, but that is not always mean anything. But they raced each other really hard. They gave each other room, but not much.
Yeah.
And they raced hard, elbow to elbow, the entire race and never made contact.
Yeah, I mean, usually your teammate's the guy that you want to beat more than anybody.
Yeah. Yeah. And but just to see him have that kind of respect for each other, especially Clark, because he's new to the team. Sometimes when you're new to the team and maybe you're racing against someone that you think is someone that's your idol or someone that you've watched for a few years before you hit the pro level, you want to beat them, and sometimes that can take a little bit of the rational thinking away from those final laps.
Fair enough.
Which, I'm a witness to Vegas to Reno 2021. So, I believe that was exactly the case. So who knows? But I was able to get a little interview with Bitterman before the races.
Yes, boots on the ground.
Yeah, let's have a listen to what KB had to say right before the races. Hey, you're on MAddOG'S after show here in Loveland, Colorado. Happy New Year, Kyle Bitterman.
What's up, guys?
Hey, how much do you love Loveland?
Oh man, we've been here so much over the years. That's what I was telling the guys that at my hotel. I know the exact breakfast times for when it starts and ends, and I was like, "Yeah, I've been here too much. I already know the breakfast time in the hotel."
Yeah, I think this is my 6th year at this arena. A nice arena. What do you think of the track?
So far, the track's pretty good. We struggle with elevation here. The bikes are a little slower. We breathe a little harder, but I think it's pretty good. The whoops are big. It's gonna be. I think it's gonna race pretty good. It's gonna dry out by the main events, but overall, I think it's gonna be a good day for racing.
Yeah, I think it's going to dry out a little bit, but you look pretty good out there in first practice. So
yeah, free practice we're sitting third, but we got to improve on a few things, and I think everybody's just going to improve and throughout the day get a little faster, a little better, more comfortable. But yeah, I think it's going to be a good night.
Yeah, well, good luck and thanks for jumping in.
Absolutely, thank you guys.
Yeah, so I think he kind of called it, to begin with, what the track he had a good idea what the track was going to do. Um, and even he mentioned, the whoops are big and good, I think he said. And he's been great on the whoops this year. So
Makes me laugh. Hell of a combination to have the bikes running slower at altitude, like you said, breathing harder because at altitude, and then the whoops are amped up.
yeah,
So
yeah,
less power, bigger obstacles.
right.
Ah, that's what makes Arenacross exciting. You
Yeah,
know?
and it was really exciting Friday. Saturday pro am day. Ryan Brees stuck around. So obviously it wasn't first place. Watching first for first wasn't quite as exciting. Um, my real good buddy Akon, Adam Conway, um, made it out from Reno after some flight issues that he missed Friday, and he does run pro, but he made it out to run, and unfortunately, man, I was looking at his brand new helmet. It's so beautiful. He was looking good. He was looking really fast, and just caught his leg on a tough block, and did some pretty significant damage to his knee. Um, and I don't know at this point. I've checked in with him a couple times. I know he's getting some relief, but I don't know at this point the extent of the damage or how much racing he'll miss this year if he gets back this year at all.
Man, that's tough.
Yeah.
Every injury sucks, but knee stuff is just brutal.
Yeah, and I think I didn't even see what happened. I just heard he was down and ran out there. And sure enough, he appears he didn't crash. I don't know if somebody kicked the tough block out and he got his leg caught on it.
Or
It was
just
one,
clipped it just enough.
it was one of the longer triangle shaped blocks.
Gotcha.
So they're not light, dude.
No, no.
So,
Yeah, they move, but not at the pace you're moving, so
right.
twisting is bound to happen.
Yeah. So, that being said, I mean, thoughts and prayers for a speedy recovery, Akon. Um, dude, I'll talk to you this week. Um, and, that was it for Loveland, man. Hop in the rental car Sunday morning, pack it all up Saturday night after the show, and hop in the rental car Sunday morning, run up and fly home and rip down through the desert and spend a couple of days at home doing honeydews, and unfortunately uh flew to Nebraska Wednesday. So um you know
Yeah, that was a fast turnaround because it seemed like you just got home and then it's like, well, back on the road.
so that's the way the first couple weekends will start. This weekend, hopefully, I will get out of here Sunday on time and be home a couple days, and then off to Oklahoma Wednesday. And I will be staying because of the extended programs in Oklahoma. I'll be staying uh, both days in Oklahoma between the races.
Oh,
Uh,
good. Cool.
yeah, got some projects I need to do at Kicker World headquarters
Top
for
secret.
them. Yeah, some stuff for them and with them. So get some stuff planned out and worked out and some things handled. Uh, so yeah, man, it's just and then Oklahoma. So next week, I'm sure um, we may have to do an after show uh, micro for a recap of the race so we can do a full blown after show, maybe with a guest next week. So, um, which I think would be super rad. I've got a couple of people lined up that I'd like to get on.
Ooh.
Um, but man, what an active week. I mean, it's Dakar, dude.
Yeah, Dakar. And we're almost to the middle of it. Tomorrow is rest. Well, 2 days from now is rest day.
Right.
Well, yeah, the time's confusing, but yeah, they have one more they have one more stage and then rest day. So that's
They
basically
have
the halfway point.
Yeah, they have one more half a chrono
Well, depends on how you finished. Maybe you have more than a half a chrono
or less.
or less. That's what everybody's goal was to pin it to
Yeah.
4 o'clock, and then hopefully only have like 150-kilometer stage tomorrow. So
Yeah, I think
new rule
that's
for this year, very unique.
yeah, why don't you explain that real quick because it's kind of it's very simple but it's confusing.
Yeah, and especially when they're explaining it in heavy French accents, that didn't help at all. So for our YouTube listeners, this will help out a lot because I'm going to use hand emotions. But basically, so essentially you have one long stage that's 2 days long. And on the first day of the stage, you ride or drive as fast and as far as you can until 4 p.m. At 4 p.m., you are stopped at the closest checkpoint. So if you had a mechanical issue and only made it 100 kilometers that day, well, guess what? Now you got 600 to do tomorrow. Or if you hauled in the mail and did 500 today, well, then you have a short stage tomorrow. So everybody's strategy, at least on the competitive side of things, has been to get as many kilometers down today so you can reward yourself with a short day tomorrow. So it's a new rule for this year, and at first it kind of seemed real hokey, but I think it made for a kind of a cool mix up, and I don't think it's going to be as cheesy as I originally thought it was going to be. And then if you had to put a silver lining to it, it almost gives you this retro feel of Dakar of old, where there weren't these nice bivouacs that they're going to each night. It's a little more off the cuff, and if you almost think about it, if you get stuck out in the desert somewhere and got to spend the night, kind of feels fun like that.
Yeah, and there really are. They're kind of basically like they have what, six micro bivouacs set up, if you
Yep.
will, which is not what was it, stage end of stage 4 was a solo. There's
Oh,
no
yep,
bivouac.
yep.
So yeah, a couple days ago into stage 4, they didn't have a bivouac at all. Everybody was left to themselves basically.
Yeah, you get 2 hours to
Um,
work on stuff, and then
yeah,
and then the organizers, doesn't matter if you're Stefan Petterhansel or Carlos Sainz or Ricky Brabeck, they throw you a tent and say, "Have a good night."
yeah. Basically, pitch a tent, and it was really cool to see um, social media posts from the Americans all hanging out um, with the crew, but the Americans all together also
For sure.
with a lot of the people around these big giant bonfires, if you will, just kind of chilling out. And then their next post, they're setting up a one person tent in the middle of the sandstorm, you know.
Yep.
So
30-second tent, throw it in the air, and hopefully it works by the time it hits the ground.
yeah. So that was kind of cool. But this stage is this 6-7 chrono is very interesting. And um it's the other cool factor that I picked up on that you didn't mention is nobody knows, like when they pull the pin at 4 and you have to basically go to the nearest mini bivouac, if you will. um you don't know where you're at. You don't know where anybody, if they're not with you, you have no idea if they're at checkpoint 5 or checkpoint 7 or checkpoint 1.
Man, what a mind game that would be. Shoot, think if you thought you killed it all night, but you don't see some of the other fast guys, and you're like, ooh, maybe they just absolutely cleaned the floor with me today, or opposite, maybe. Yeah, like what a mind game. You don't know where everybody else
Yeah,
is at, which is
and
fun.
it's a full blackout. Like you do not get information. They're not releasing any information at all.
Yeah, I wonder if some of the better teams figured out how to be sneaky about that, but hopefully not for the spirit of the rally. Hopefully it stays all hush hush.
I think the Toyota Gazoo has a rough idea and has posted a rough idea of time that they raced,
Okay.
but I don't think, other than like I saw a Sess update where he had or Dennis's update, whatever it was, where they had like 175 kilometers tomorrow. So that
Short.
means they did,
They killed it.
over 400 kilometers today.
Yeah, they went very well then. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's like the length of the prologue tomorrow. So hopefully they have a very short, fast day, and yeah, that'll be good. Good for them.
Yeah. And our buddies of the show here, Mitch Guthrie, last we knew was running, I think, third in the overall.
Yep.
And he had won one stage, and he really had a up and down. I haven't heard anything else since then. Of course, we're basically two stages behind now.
Yeah.
AJ,
Fortunately, I think he would be second overall right now, but he did have a little speeding penalty to pay the piper on. So got about a 15-minute penalty. So now he's third.
yeah, which if I saw, um, basically heard from him about that, and it sounded like it's an appeal.
Okay.
So I don't know what the situation was. Can't answer it. No idea. Don't ask me. I don't know. But by the time this comes out, we'll probably know.
Yeah.
Whether it sticks or not.
I mean, obviously, him being a friend of the show, hopefully it doesn't stick.
Right.
But I can't think of any other time in Dakar where they've been like, okay, now updated leaderboard. This penalty was actually removed. So
Yeah. Well, especially on an American.
yeah, I just don't think that. I like I said, I'm optimistic, but I just don't see the organizers, the ASO taking an L and being like, oh, we made a mistake.
Yeah. No, they don't make mistakes, do they?
Yeah.
I mean, they didn't apologize for the motorcycle road book mess up last year. So certainly, probably not. Appeals probably not going to help. And I don't know why you would appeal anyways if you were an American, because obviously they're not going to do anything to help the Americans at this point.
I would doubt it, but hopefully I'm wrong, but I would doubt it.
Yeah. I would like to think that this new group of representatives that we have, Mitch, Seth, AJ, now Sarah Price, Ricky Brabeck, Mason, and
Jacob Argybright and Jamie Campbell, Skylar Howes.
Hopefully this new generation, if you will, of American Dakar racers will help change their mind, and maybe not be so anti-US.
Would be neat.
But it's always been that way.
Yeah.
To the point where, and I'm not saying that's happened to anybody this year, any American this year, but there's been in the past when Americans have done very well, and they've had suspicious issues.
Yeah. And not even that long ago.
No, not that long ago. A very prominent American motorcycle racer with the initials RB,
yeah,
I believe it was, had an engine mysteriously expire for no reason.
Well, and fork settings that changed overnight, fork and shock settings. So
yeah, mysterious. Keep in mind, these vehicles are secured and in the bivouac overnight. So who knows?
Yeah, it's only going to bum you out the more you try to overthink it. And
right, I agree. That being said, I believe that the engine issue that Seth had, and we haven't covered that yet, but Seth Um, apparently is still in the overall. So somehow they made it back in time. Um,
Hmm.
because they're still showing him officially in the overall at like 114th position or something currently.
Yeah, because they had to
He
do
had to get,
something with the chassis, but they had to do a motor swap because he hit a rock, and that just absolutely gutted the driveline. And in Dakar, you get like a 20 or 24-hour penalty, no matter your class, if you have to swap the motor out. So luckily,
yeah,
he can still go, but yeah, not no, sadly, no longer in the top 10.
no. But that being said, finished stage 5 in 7th place, I believe, or 6th place. Um, and you got to remember, this is a 21-year-old kid that um, literally 10 years ago was racing Razor 170s
Yeah,
in the
crazy
US. Um, is running with the best of the best of the best World Rally
in the premier class.
grade drivers in the premier class, or as they like to call it, ultimate.
Yeah, it's so stupid all their little taglines add now. But
Yeah,
uh,
challenger,
I will
ultimate.
preface this with a sorry to Amy and Aaron for bringing this up. But now that Seth is out of contention for the overall, and he's a 21-year-old kid in T1, he's no stranger to winning stages. So, they
Let
might
that
have
some bitch
they might
eat.
they might have just. I know he wants to keep his job next year, but they might have just unleashed the beast here with not worrying about big picture anymore. Now it's all very small picture.
Dude, I agree with you 1,000%, and I have actually typed that on several of Amy's posts, and actually deleted it
Oh
because I
yeah!
don't want to stress her out.
Wow. Oh,
But
good. Yeah. Jeez.
I know the kid, and he's still in good spirits, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, and no matter what, he's humble. He's ultimately appreciative for the opportunity driving the T1 Ultimate class, especially for such a prominent team like Toyota Gazoo.
Yeah. I had that thought today too, because it's like I know Ford's coming back into it, and obviously they're trying, but for him to be in the literal ass kicker car,
Yes,
it's so exciting as well.
yeah, for sure, and yeah, and unfortunately, like I said, justifiably, it sounded like they hit a rock that was buried in the sand. Just a weird deal, and it scrapped the engine. I'm guessing probably broke the oil pan because initial reports were it was an oil pressure issue, and if there's no oil, then there's generally no oil pressure.
But
And
normally you can run Toyotas without oil, but I guess they're not the 22 REs of old, huh?
yeah, right. Uh, probably not very close to those, but nonetheless, the kids hauling the mail.
Yep.
Mitch Guthrie Jr. is doing a great job. AJ has been, I think he struggled and then just shone like a freaking lighthouse,
Yeah.
and then struggled and then shone like a lighthouse. I believe in stage 5, he pulled out a second.
Yep. Yeah, because he was on the interviews and everything. He was
Yeah,
elated about that, and I was as we were
yeah, and and Sarah Price has done real well.
very well.
Um, consistent top tens. Um,
And they keep talking about her on the broadcast, which is exciting.
yeah, which is great. I think it's fantastic, and so it's really good. Um, and really, a lot of my information has been through social media.
Of course.
Um, when I was home for the 2 days, I'm able to watch the stages that they have produced on Peacock. Um, which, by the way, if you're listening to this and you've listened to the Peacock 2024 Dakar broadcast, please drop us a like and tell us how awesome our audio is, because they're a multi-million-dollar production and their audio sucks. It's
So I've heard.
absolutely horrible.
Well, I heard it's actually even hard on Peacock to navigate how to get to Dakar. You got to pick like season 1, season 2, and then try to find the day's date. I heard it's not very simple.
Yes.
So
No, it's not. It's not at all. So, but that's something that I have that I use at home. It's like the announcing is very quiet.
how weird.
Yeah, it's really strange. All they
Yeah,
have to do is turn that input volume up a little bit, but whatever.
should have called Kelsey Morrell Film, but hey,
Yeah, I
yeah,
agree.
and like yesterday, even the sound was physically off when they were interviewing people. That was kind of distracting, but whatever.
Right. I haven't seen that yet. Um, so yeah, man, I just our thoughts and we're sending positive thoughts and definitely prayers for safety and good racing
Yep.
out to all our Americans and really all the racers. I don't have a bone to pick with any particular racer out there.
Not
I think
yet.
you're all gladiators until you start something, and then we'll see who the real gladiators are. Just kidding. But and yeah, man, we just want to send our positiveness out to them. And Nasser, just such an icon.
He's so funny.
He's hilarious. I've had the opportunity to meet him in person,
Crazy.
and just casually like talk, and he's a funny guy, and he I want to send a thank you out to him for taking and working with Seth and taking Seth under his wing.
His direct competition.
And now he is direct competition.
Yep.
Yes. So,
Wow.
but they're still best of friends, I believe. So, with that, what else you got on Dakar?
Yeah. Today was not kind of. Today was a bummer for the fact that another one of our Americans from Utah, Skylar Howes, he had an engine failure today, which obviously sucks for many reasons. But keep in mind, he's also on the factory Honda team. So if he had an issue, that always scares me that there could be the same issue with other bikes on that team. So,
Right.
and I know that it was a reworked bike this year. I know that Benavides wasn't too happy with the bike, or still isn't. So I'm just selfishly, I'm really hoping that Ricky's bike is fine through it, because as we record this, he's I believe first or second in the standings, and it's a long time to go. But yeah, I start hearing engine failures from the big teams like that. It gets a little spooky. But then also I have to bring up my favorite, Mason Klein, our other American who
Yes.
jumped on the Chinese bike this year after fortunately losing his opportunity that he had last year. But the more TV coverage he gets, the better it is, especially for Americans, because he's just so damn funny. On the first or second stage, he won. So they had this goofy rule where you pick the top 10 how you want to start. So you get to the bikes, or at least the bikes, you say, okay, I want number 47 to start third. I want to start sixth, yada, yada, yada. So
Yeah.
So they have this very big, serious, like, podium thing, and they go, okay, Mason, because you won today's stage, you get to pick who goes first. And he goes up to the mic and goes, well, I don't know how any of this works, so I'll just go first. And everybody starts laughing. And all the riders are like, are you serious? Because the worst thing you can do in Dakar is be the first guy out, because all the navigation falls on you. He just goes, I don't know how it works, so I'll just go first. And I'm like, that was the coolest thing. And then unfortunately, he is on a Chinese produced bike. Beats nothing, but it's been a rough one. And so he had some big issues the other day. Well, he was on TV, and it's so refreshing to hear a racer not talk like a racer. Just, he sounded more like an independent guy. And he said, well, this week is the first time I'm ever riding this bike. I just got this thing, and I had to put it together. It came to me in a bunch of parts, and I didn't get to ride it before. And if I would have gotten this bike earlier, I would have had all these problems figured out before I got here. But here we are, and it was so awesome just to hear such pure honesty.
Now, I've been kind of ghost watching him as far as the stats go, but honestly, I wasn't aware that he was on Chinese bike. What's he riding?
It's called, I think it's called like a core or something, Kore,
Really?
core. Yeah, I'll
Huh.
have to look up the exact
Interesting.
name, but yeah, it is
Never heard of her.
right, exactly.
Yeah.
But it
That being said,
if
he
they're
did
paying
win
him
a stage against the best in the world.
yeah, let's see what the heck's this thing called if I can find it.
But while you're looking that up,
Cove, Kove,
huh?
Cove,
Interesting.
Cove Moto.
Yeah.
Yikes.
I was watching an interview with him the next morning after that, and he goes, well, I was pretty comfortable with my decision last night, and then the more I thought about it, I think that was pretty dumb. That was the next morning. So
Oh,
he
that's
goes,
perfect.
yeah, I'm a little bit more nervous about it now. But hey, we're just here to ride motorcycles or something like that.
Oh,
So
that's perfect.
it was really cool. What else you got on Dakar?
Oh, wow. What, see if we didn't cover anything. Yep, they're at that chrono stage today. Most of our Americans are doing pretty good. We covered Seth, Mitch, AJ's ups and downs. Sarah's been doing great in the T4 class. The trucks are exciting as ever. And then also, of course, special shout out to my family friend, Jamie Campbell, who is in the M1000 class, which is kind of your experimental, let's see what makes it class. There's a lot of different vehicles in this thing. There's some electric bikes, which are doing absolutely horrible. There's some hydrogen cars, some big hydrogen trucks, all sorts of stuff. So yeah, you have quite a varying degree of vehicles, but it's supposed to be, like I said, they're experimental. Let's be honest, it's supposed to be more their eco-friendly options. But in this case, I'm all for it because it means that Jamie got in a car. He is in a vehicle that is hydrogen powered. That's a combination of a lot of the big Japanese manufacturers, including Honda, Toyota, Suzuki, Kawasaki, all came together to build this thing. And they've done really well. They've finished all the stages up until yesterday. They had an issue where they did run out of hydrogen, and I believe they also had another driveline issue. So Jamie, unfortunately, got to sit in the dunes for about 3 or 4 hours as he waited to get rescued. But he was out there in his bomber eyewear, so at least he looked stylish and cool, and his eyes were nice and safe in the Saudi Arabia sands as he wore his buzz bombs, and yeah, so. Hoping they get the car back together so he can finish this thing. His brothers raced it a few times with Robbie Gordon and a couple times solo on bike, so it's nice to see Jamie get his turn.
Yeah, I really hope he gets back into it and is able to continue on. We want to see our friends do well for sure and keep continuing to race right to the end. With that being said, special shout out to the Toyota Gazoo mechanical team of Seth Quintero Dennis Zenz, who did an engine swap, full engine, and I believe part of the drivetrain swap.
Yep.
Overnight between
Crazy.
stages, and got him back to the start in time to where he could go through and finish in the top 10 of the best guys in the world. So super shout out to those guys. Thanks for keeping the kid rolling. We appreciate it. And whoever the big race truck was, it towed him back and got him back to the bivouac in time before his time expired. Thank you for that also.
Yes, thank you.
I mean, he's run 114th overall, but you can only go up from there if you stay in the running, right?
Yeah, and hopefully he, once again, selfishly, hopefully he gets a stage win so he gets the coverage and makes the team happy and he gets another medal for himself. So we'll see what happens.
There's a lot of stages left, and it really wouldn't surprise me to I honestly wouldn't be surprised if he pulls out maybe 2 or 3 stage wins in the
That's bold.
next
That's bold, but I
7.
like it.
I know the kid. I know how he races, you know. Um, the only thing that might keep him from pushing that hard is Team Toyota Gazoo.
Oh, fair enough.
So, with big teams, sometimes come big team orders. And,
For sure.
if you're 110th in the running order, you may have to take one for the team,
Yep.
unfortunately.
Yeah,
If
you
you're
might get
second,
the other guy's flats to drive home on.
yeah, yep, exactly. So, that being said, that's our weekly wrap on Dakar, I believe. Cole, what else you got?
I'm just interested to in 1 week's time when we do the podcast next to see if we're still happy about where our Americans are and yeah, it's the only race that you get to say, well, we'll check in next week, see how it's
Yeah,
still going. So
right.
it's just
Well,
funny.
and that being said, um, AJ's had his ups and downs. But dude, we're only at stage 6 of 14
Yeah.
or 13 or 14, right?
13 third. I'll put my money on 13. I think that sounds right.
I think it's 14, but whatever.
Oof.
Anyways, we're not even halfway through. So realistically, if you're in the top 10 by midway through and you can make it to the end, you stand a fair chance of being in the top 3.
Yeah.
If you don't have any kind of major issues. Because we're already starting to see it, even at stage 5 in the Challenger SSV T3 class or whatever the hell it is. We're seeing people that up on the podium that it's like, oh, where'd they come from?
Yeah.
You
No
know,
idea. No idea.
and the family from Poland, I think it is Glesko, something that has just been dominating. What? None of them were on the last podium.
Yeah, go figure. Yep.
So, okay, come out and hit a home run for 4 rounds, but there's still 10 to go.
Yeah,
So,
and mechanical things break. So
and AJ is not a 2-time Dakar champion in the SSV classes by luck,
no,
you know.
definitely not a race you can luck into.
Right. So, anyways, that's a wrap for Dakar for this week. We'll check in next week. Um, dude, this weekend, Parker 400 is back.
Yeah. I'm glad you brought that up. I remembered and then I forgot. But yeah, qualifying was today or started today, and they're going to keep it going until tomorrow. But
That could be. I
I
don't
know
know.
some of the trophy truck guys, or as they would call it, the unlimited truck guys, did some qualifying today. So yeah, it's really interesting because Best in the Desert had the Parker 425 for 1,000 years. Best in the Desert dropped the ball on some stuff. Essentially, Parker's not happy with them. And so, but now we have 2 races in Parker from 2 different organizations. So that gets a little confusing for me too. But this weekend is Unlimited Off-Road Racing's Parker 400.
Right. Which is like the legendary, as they're calling it, bringing back the legendary race.
Yeah.
Which, didn't it used to be way back? Was it the 400 or the 425?
425. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
Way back.
Yeah. And then they've had the Parker 250 midway through the year and the Parker 425. And that race is always so cool because unfortunately there's some of the stuff that's missing, but they've run along the river at some parts of the race course and the asphalt. They started in the street and had a guy with the trigger on his finger for the street lights, so he would click it green and that would send the guys down the road. So I think unfortunately some of that stuff is gone, but it's nice to have racing back in Parker.
The Martellis are really really hooked on that fanfare, um, bravado of the old days,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, they
And
understand the
so,
history of it.
yeah, and so it wouldn't surprise me as they progress with this race to see things like that come back. I mean, they're already back starting, I believe, in downtown Parker.
Yeah, which is great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, it's really cool. And I saw multiple broadcasts today, just scanned over them on social media this evening. Um, of course, Dan Beaver, the legend, and
Yeah.
the Podfather's dad is
Grand Marshal.
Grand Marshal. And really Dan and Jim are both legends,
Of
really.
course. Yep.
Um, and to see broadcast right in front of Parker Motor Company, which is their Ford dealer that is now Dan's second generation owner. Um, but I've been down there and been able to spend some time visiting with him. What a guy.
Really
Um,
good.
I intend to go back and just have coffee with him,
Cool.
you know. Um, and so yeah, it was really cool to see all that and kind of like correlate the history in my mind with the visual that I'm seeing. So that was really cool.
Yeah, I just can't think of Dan Beaver without thinking of his classic Class 8 truck. So yeah, a lot of history and I hope people who didn't know who Dan Beaver was before this, hope he gets some recognition after this weekend.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Truly a legend and an icon in Parker and that area of desert racing
Yeah.
as well as desert racing in the US and in Mexico. So
Yep.
um crazy good stuff. It'd be interesting to see how all that runs out. Um what else you got?
Oh, man, we're about up on time, but yeah, just there's a possibility. It's not my news to share, but there's a possibility my rider may or may not have a brand new horse in the stable as of tonight. So, once again, not my news to share, but
Right?
theoretically that happened. And
Hot dog.
hot dog, yeah, I want to say you'll like this thing, but you also hate this thing if you can read between the lines.
I
Um,
understand.
and then I also, excitingly, have a brand new favorite Arenacross racer, and that is Chandler Baker. Uh,
Yeah.
for Wes Kane was spreading rumors, and his reaction, he couldn't have been funnier. So, Chandler Baker, you're my new Arenacross guy.
Yeah, he's a funny guy. He's definitely a funny guy, and if you want to know the story behind that, uh, look Arenacross up on Instagram
Yep.
at Arenacross USA, and just check through their reels.
I
You'll
can't
get it
believe they
figured
made a
out.
reel of that. How funny.
Yeah, you'll get it figured out
Yeah, it was too
real
funny.
quick.
Too funny. So,
For sure. We're here in Grand Island, Nebraska
oh yeah, I looked it
this
up. It's not
weekend.
an island, by the way. It's not an island.
It's not. I think it's surrounded by rivers or
Well,
maybe just irrigation,
yeah, dry rivers, but
maybe snow.
yeah, it's
Um,
definitely surrounded by snow.
it sounds like an amazing place. Um, so let's just leave it at that. It sounds like an amazing place.
It sounds
Uh,
nice.
um, that being said, you know, when I saw Grand Island on the schedule, I'm like, Grand Island, Bahama?
Sounds cool.
Ooh.
Man, very tropical.
They finally listened to me and added someplace warm into the winter schedule.
Instead,
Not the
it
case
feels
at all.
-13.
Yeah. Yeah. It's yeah. Sunday
Woof.
morning when I'm on my way out, the high Sunday is slated to be whopping -4,
That's bad. That's rough.
which is actually warming up because yesterday it was supposed to be -5. So when you're dealing with minuses, remember 4 is better than 5.
Yeah. My
Um,
goodness.
yeah, so this should be an interesting weekend. And then, like I said, a couple of days off to get some stuff caught up. I've got a new kicker project I'm working on with the after show, the boat, the after show, and the kicker boat called the after show. A couple of projects I'm working on with
Yeah.
it.
Good. Okay.
And yeah. And I'll let you all in on that at some point. Um, let's just say because more is better.
As long as it
And
floats after, it's all that matters.
oh yeah, yeah, for sure.
That'll be fine.
Wouldn't matter to you. You never come out and see me.
True. This is true.
Shots fired.
I know my truth.
No.
I didn't deny it. I wish I could come out more.
Yeah. Well, maybe when you do your annual or buy a couple of trips to Laughlin for the desert races, I can run up and see you in person.
Or I'll just come down. That way I get my Laughlin fill and my Havasu fill.
Yeah, that'd be rad.
They're really not that far.
No, 20, about half an hour.
Yep.
Maybe less. So, yeah, man, all that being said, I think we are about up on time. One thing I do want to say, I want to say a huge thank you to our extra super loyal listeners, and thank you for the shout outs of support to Crazy and Dr. Watson and my good buddy, the Flying Canadian, Mr. Rob McDonald. I appreciate you guys,
with the feedback and
the unconditional support through this name change thing and everything. And I look forward to seeing you all soon. And man, dude, I'm just so grateful for all of our listeners. We've now got our annual report back, and dude, I'm just blown away.
not dwindling, so I'll take it.
Yeah, not at all. So, that being said, thank you to everyone. I actually re-listened to the Sue Mead episode on my flight out here, and man, that's a goodie. So if you haven't listened to it, I think it was might have been episode 46. Go back and check it out. Sue Mead. It's good. It's a really
Yep,
good
episode
episode.
46. You nailed it.
She is an amazing person. So grateful for her. And you might see some insight onto stuff that maybe the Magic Man here and myself are trying to accomplish in our 2024 life goals. So with that, again, special shout out to all of our partners, Kicker Performance Audio, online, kicker.com, on Instagram at Kicker Audio, and every other Tuesday on their YouTube channel and Facebook, Kicker Unmasked Live TV Show, 7 p.m. Central. Bomber Eyewear, Bomber Safety Eyewear, Bomber Floating Eyewear, Bomber Prescription Eyewear. The only eyewear you need for everything, whether you're boating, you're off-roading, you're welding. Well, don't wear them welding. You're cutting.
Yeah, don't do that.
Man, anything and everything. And on top of everything else, man, they float.
It's a big deal.
So, yeah, reasonably priced. They're the blue jeans of sunglasses. Tommy and his crew has it figured out. Get over there and pick one of their 42 frame styles or 40 plus frame styles and choose your lenses and maybe even get a prescription pair. I have two. They are certainly Mad Dog approved. Of course, the Premix podcast. Tune in to him on Instagram at the Premix Podcast. You know, desert racing season's coming up, and so is King of the Hammers. And so you want to get in touch with him, get him scheduled to get some photos of your race rig out desert racing. Also hit him up if you need an MC for your wedding, your divorce, your bar mitzvah, whatever.
Slot
Or
car
an
race.
off-road event, slot car race. Yeah, definitely a slot car race. Like, I would think Crazy Watson knows somebody that has a slot car race.
He's probably banned from slot car racing, let's be honest.
Possible. Yeah. Of course, Kelsey Morrell film. And man, she is working her butt off to get all this stuff up. And she's been working really hard to rebrand some of the content that we've already had up on YouTube. Find our YouTube channel, Mad Dog Media, and hit our YouTube podcast, Mad Dog's After Show. You'll see our videos. She's got more and more producing all the time as we're playing catch up. It'll be great. It'll be good. It'll be great. It'll be awesome. Of course, Hey Keeks Marketing, always hooking us up with the videos we need, the templates we need, any artwork that we need, slight remaster on the logo. So grateful for her. Look her up, Hey Keeks Marketing, on Instagram or heykeeks.com. With that, dude, I want to tell everyone, I want to say, just really grateful to everyone for being along with us on this crazy ride of the after show. That's AFTR, you know what I mean? And man, we are glad to have you here. Thanks for the incredible growth last year. Here's to a great year. And I just want to say, Cole, thank you so much. Any parting statements?
It's going to rain at Supercross this weekend, so let's get ready for that.
It should be exciting.
And travel safe in the snow.
Thank you, I will.
Travel safe in the snow. And if you haven't already, Lauren, make sure to rate, review, and subscribe on your favorite streaming platform.
I love that speech, dude. So smooth. So smooth. Man, I am grateful for all of y'all. God bless our troops. God bless America. Thank you, God, for the opportunity to be able to do what we do. Mad Dog out.